Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good one today. I'm the Metal Junkie, and today I'm doing an album review for the band Vitriol with their album Suffer and Become. It came out in January 2024. It's their second album. They used to go by the name Those Who Lie Beneath, but since they changed their name, they have came out with two albums. This is a technical death metal band. They're very intense, very fast paced, very brutal. It's really in your face from start to finish, this album. And the musicianship on here is top notch. The guitars, the speed that they're picking at, and the bass and everything is just so complex and technical. And like I said, very fast paced. The drummer is a blast beat machine, basically. I'm pretty sure he can play anything. The skill is definitely there. Unfortunately, that's kind of the downfall for me, the intensity and just how brutal this album is. It never really takes time to breathe. Um, Very little amounts of breathing room in here. I'll get into the track list in a little bit, but yeah, it's just a little much for me. Technical death metal is not exactly my favorite genre to begin with. Perhaps if you're into this genre, this could be perfectly up your alley. But for me personally, there just wasn't enough melody a lot of the time. They went for speed and intensity over that. So I didn't gravitate to a lot of the tracks here. Mostly moments in each track. They always had moments that grabbed my attention, but not all the tracks had that consistently throughout, unfortunately. And I forgot to mention the vocals. They also suit the music very well, your typical death metal vocals, but they're very good at it. The guitarist and the bassist both do the vocals, so you get one going back and forth, and one has a little bit of a deeper voice, so you get a little bit of variety there, so that's great. There's symphonic elements thrown into this album. Not a lot, not enough to make this a symphonic element band or a symphonic metal band, but it's more used as a tool on certain tracks, and it just really does add a lot of atmosphere and just helps out certain tracks in different areas. I actually really like the symphonic elements here. And we also get 4 music videos from this album in particular, and they're all great. They're worth checking out, very well directed. And as for the lyrics, I mean, it's very hellish, very intense. A lot of punishment, a lot of grieving, but in a very like sadistic way. There's suffering, obviously, with the album called Suffer and Become, but it's not all there just to be like, look how edgy we are, and it's not like satanic or anything. It's done in a way that I feel like adds a lot of humanity to the album. It kind of shows the dark parts of humanity, I suppose, with sadness and anger and, torture and everything that comes with being a human and having to deal with these emotions and these different scenarios we get ourselves in. Of course, there is some metaphors on top of that, and there's some actual crazy, hellish type moments lyrically on this album. But for the most part, I like that they add that bit of humanity in there. Just makes it feel a little more relatable at times, even though they do up the scenario like 100-fold. Like, these are definitely more over the top scenarios of sadness and stuff, very intense and brutal, but it's still relatable in that sense. And getting into the track list here, the album opens up with my favorite track, Shame and Its Afterbirth. This song is so good, definitely the standout of the album for me personally. It opens up with this really eerie guitar, using the whammy and such. You can see it in the music video that they put out because it's like a playthrough video. Very cool, definitely worth checking out. And yeah, I just love the opening, and it slowly builds and builds and it keeps getting more intense, more crazy. There's actually a little hook in here with the guitar riff. It's not exactly like that, but it comes back multiple times, but in different variations. It keeps changing a bit, changing tones, changing everything. I love that about it, and it makes me look forward for something to come back to. It's a 6-minute and some long track, I believe, so you need something to familiarity there, I feel, and they do give you that on this track, and it has the best solo of the year on this track right here. It's a long one too. It goes on for a while, but it's just awesome. The dude's just shredding at one point. It gets melodic, but he also shreds sweet picking and really proves that he can do anything. And the bass is on here, especially in the video. You can see him going all out too. Everybody on this album plays at full capacity. But yeah, this track really sticks out to me. And the closing track also sticks out to me. Not as much as the opening, but it's still pretty damn good. He Will Fight Savagely. This one has a pretty intense music video with like body modification and people getting hooks in their skin and stuff. Ooh, not for everybody. Some people can't watch that stuff. It's even a little hard for me at times, but the music is great. And the second half of the track, I just love it. It's a blast. It's intense, but the double foot pedals are going and everything. But at the same time, you add these symphonic elements that I was talking about over top of that. And it just makes for a really awesome mood. It's very atmospheric, but heavy. And yeah, I just love the way they finish off this album, close it off. And my third favorite track would probably be the fifth track, Survival's Careening Inertia. This one's an instrumental, and it starts off with some more smooth guitars. It's not distorted like the rest of the tracks. The drums are still intense, but they pair actually really well. And the track opens like that on a more easier listening note when this whole album's just like so crazy. I like that this is midway through and lets the album breathe a little bit. This is like the only breathing part on the album, basically. And yeah, I just really like this one, and it's a great instrumentation. And yeah, there's no vocals on here, but it's a blast to go through. Really great track. There's a couple tracks I don't like on here though, like The Flowers of Sadism. That one just doesn't work for me. Although I do like the vocals going back and forth between the guitars and the basses, the track itself musically, it does nothing for me. It's just it doesn't suit my musical taste, I suppose. And along with what other track? Flood of Predation. That one doesn't really do anything for me either. All the rest of the tracks are okay. I find they're nothing really up my alley, but I don't hate them either. They're just kind of okay. They're very listenable. They all have moments of greatness throughout them, but also moments of just I don't want to say noise because it's not noise. These guys are definitely very talented, but it's just so much it's hard to get into for me personally. But there's these riffs and little hooks throughout each one to keep it listenable, and I don't mind going back and listening to these tracks, but they're not my standouts, but they're not my most hated either. The Isolating Lie of Learning Another. I absolutely love the opening to that track. I mean, it's really awesome. Cool little headbanging riff. It gets intense, and then it comes back with it. And I'm like, it's not often that they repeat stuff on this album, so I love that. Great hook. And on the second time around, you got one of the vocals going, ooh, ooh. Like, ooh, ooh. I forget how he does it, but it just drops, and it's so awesome. Second half of the track kind of loses me a bit, but it's still a pretty great track nonetheless. So yeah, that's the track list for me. Those are the songs that stick out the most to me. And I gave this album multiple listens, a lot of chances. This came out in January. It was, I think it was the first album or second album I listened to in 2024. And so I listened to it for like a week straight. And then I kept coming back to it every week or two. I'd come back, try it again. And I just tried it again right before this review, and it still doesn't completely land for me. I respect the musicianship on it. I think they're super talented. But as a whole, it's just okay. If I had to give the rating to this, couldn't go any higher than 6.4 out of 10. Still gets a passing mark for me, but not by much. I think if you're into technical death metal, you should still absolutely go check this out because it's worth a listen, and this could be right up your alley. To me, it was just a little too fast paced, not enough melody in there. There's still some, but just not enough for my musical taste. But that's just my 2 cents, my thoughts on Vitriol, Suffer and Become. I know this album is pretty loved right now, especially in the metal community. On Metal Storm, I think it's the 12th highest rated album of 2024. That's great. Great for the band. I wish them well. Just not exactly my cup of tea. So there you have it, guys. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, thanks for watching.